In this video, you'll see a conversation from our most recent workshop on honest expression where we're discussing skillfully. This is an incredibly liberating movement of people being able to move from describing their feelings as reactions to someone else's behavior towards expressing their feelings as connected to their own needs. This is much more than a communication skill. It is a real reorienting of the inner compass. Enjoy the conversation.
I was really sitting with in the culture that many of us and our clients were raised in, if someone felt upset, then someone else had to be at fault, right? So as children, they learned to survive in that system. So of course, some submitted, constantly monitoring themselves to avoid upsetting the other. Some disconnected, numbing themselves from the pain. Some fought back, trying to reclaim some form of agency, but none of those strategies gave us the experience of learning how to live in an empowered relationship, empowered with ourselves and empowered with ourselves and power with others. So oftentimes in turn, without even realizing it, us sometimes and many of our clients were taught to believe that the other is also really responsible for our emotional experience. So every time a person says something like, you made me feel this way, you made me feel angry, they are actually surrendering their emotional center to someone else. They are telling themselves, consciously or not, I can't be okay unless you change, right? Because this emotional center is located out here. And this unconscious belief, oftentimes unconscious belief, really propels a lot of the power struggles that we begin to see in dialogue. This way of speaking and thinking is oftentimes so familiar that our clients don't even notice how much it's disconnecting them from their own true power. I think that's one of the things I really want to speak to, just how deeply empowering this is. So when our clients begin seeing their feelings not as something that needs to be fixed or blamed on someone else, but as sacred messengers, right? These are signals from the depths of our being calling forth the design of our life, right? When they begin to see my anger isn't caused by you, it is arising within me because I'm being called to attend to something tender and vital in my life, my need for consideration, my need for care or for support. My feelings are pointing me towards what serves my life. These messengers are about my needs, right? When they really deepen into that, clients can learn to connect with these feelings, not just from this cognitive nature, right? Like, oh, here's my feeling, but this can be a real homecoming, really empowering homecoming. From this place, yeah, thanks, Elia, the celebration there with me. From this place of clarity about their own needs, they can make really clear and empowered choices, which can be also vulnerable as they really first step into this kind of quality of power. They can start to explore more clearly internal strategies to meet their needs, make really clear requests of others for how the others could contribute to their needs. And really importantly, they can over time learn to stay centered when they can learn to stay centered and grounded, even when the other person may not be available or want to meet their need in the way they would like to have it met. They are no longer victims of circumstance. They can really lean into being the architects of their lives, staying connected to the need, calling forth their creativity, and as much as possible, designing a life that is aligning with these needs and values that are being called forth within them. So I really feel this is so much more than just a communication skill. It is a pretty radical act of emotional sovereignty and liberation. But maybe just check in, notice what happens for you hearing that. Questions, thoughts, skepticism, and what arises for you as a therapist around this. If anyone else kind of feels already and shares this vision in their work and has felt that experience. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just
want to name that I feel like I'm still on this journey of, you know, that I haven't, I've not realized completely in all the areas of my life. And yeah, it just feels important that that I don't know, for me, it just feels important to be, to name my humanity in it. And
Yeah, thanks, Sam, for normalizing that. Shared humanity for us, part of weaving in there. I think this is like naming it for our clients, but also for us, because I think it is so transformative that honestly, most people who are raised in like dominant Western culture are going to have some deep healing work to do around this, because this is just such a common thread for how we were raised and what was modeled. It's such a big shift to step into this. Yeah, thank you. And Sam, I also want to name that.
has
Oh, go ahead. What was that?
Oh, I want to hear what you were going to say, and then I'll say my.
Okay. Sam, I think that also that path of doing it ourselves, like knowing what it feels like to go from our own expression of how we're not fully standing in power with and feeling all those steps of how we got there, is like part of the path of the healer, right? We do that work, we learn it from within, and it gives us a better sense of shared humanity with our clients and an understanding of that path is possible for them too. So really like that shared humanity between us, but also with our clients, how challenging this can be, but it's possible. Yeah. Okay. Cora, yes.
I was just going to share that like it's a moment of like both like hope and happiness as well as like sadness in what you just discussed, right? Of like um, what we've been through or where we come from. I definitely come from that background too, and then also I'm kind of silly, and so I was like imagining or picturing like at the end of your talk that it was like planting a flag on the moon, because in some ways it feels like this huge amazing step, like if we could get our world in this direction, right? So
Yeah. One giant step for mankind, for sure. Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's a real paradigm shift. It's true. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, there can be tenderness around all the pain we witnessed around this, right? Just all the impact that's happened by us not having access to this and getting to engage in this way. I want to share as part of that shared humanity. I think part of the reason I'm passionate about this is because of my own deep path with this. Really coming from such a strong power over culture to learn to didn't know I had needs. I couldn't have needs, right? And then to get to move towards accessing this level of like self-responsibility engagement with them was such a process. It was a bit like going to the moon, Cora. It felt like that along the way. Yeah. Anything else for anyone else? Questions, thoughts, celebrations? Yes.
I had one around like emotions being these sacred messengers as we're talking about them. Like I feel like part of that journey is it's also around when they're big. I think there's some of us that like as long as the emotions are subtle and they don't have a huge impact on our body and they don't disrupt our productivity, we can listen to them and love them and sure they can access, we can access some wisdom from them. But it's being able to see the needs too, I think, behind more intense emotional experiences and
Yeah.
being able to like welcome the more intense emotional experiences also as sources of like wisdom that can lead us to really clear needs. And I think, especially in the couples I work with, there's just consistently, right, like a real deep, like just settle down or don't feel as deeply, right? And this curiosity towards like, if this is coming up big, what is it telling us, right? And being able to listen to it and welcome it is, even when the emotions seem big, feels really, it just shifting the relationship of why they're there feels really loving and like a big difference.
Yeah. I really hear that path of embracing those big feelings in the process and helping the couple to build trust that there's something valuable under these and what
Yeah,
you're naming.
even when they're big. I
In
guess
their
that's just what
big.
I'm saying. Like sometimes it's like, it's fine, just don't cry. Or it's fine, just don't shake. Like it's fine, just don't get red in the face. It's just like,
Mhm.
and there's this like shift with this that like lovingly welcomes in the whole bodily experience with it as like part of the messenger. That feels
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah. And I'm hearing maybe two areas of support for the couple there, right? There can be the support in learning the path of these feelings are really important messengers. And there may be some support in healing, maybe some old trauma that has happened around when people were running feelings in a way that was really ungrounded or not self-responsible and really impactful. And so there's a fear there about feelings. So that might be one of those things that gets revealed along the way that needs care and support and healing process.
This last comment and question really points towards something important, which is clients are going to have many different relationships to, fears about their feelings and the feelings of others. And that's why, as we're teaching these skills, we're also really walking alongside our clients, intending to what still needs healing to really create and cultivate the conditions that make integration of the skill truly possible. I invite you to notice also what just arose in you as you were listening to this conversation. This is really transformative work, not only for our clients, but for us as humans and sometimes for us as therapists. If you'd like to take a moment to really settle into that seat of the therapist, I'll share a few questions, and you're welcome to pause along the way to reflect. Where do you notice clients in your practice confusing another's behavior as the cause of their feelings and emotions? How do you support them in locating the need beneath the feelings? And in what ways are you already helping clients reconnect to their emotional sovereignty? If this work resonates with you, if you're moved by the possibility of helping clients to have greater self-empowerment and connection as they're with themselves and with others, I invite you to join us for continued learning here at MCD Therapy. And until next time, as always, let's continue to lead with love.